Start off with just general cutting the throat and just bleeding them. That's good to do that because what it does, it drains the blood from the meat and you just get a much cleaner fillet. So basically when you bleed a walleye or any other fish, you either want to do 2 slices down each side of the gill, you can see them right here, or what sometimes is easier if you got an electric fillet knife, just right down the middle, start right here, and then you'll just cut it up towards the gills and it'll start bleeding. And then generally what you want to do is let them bleed, cut them, let them set for about 5 minutes, let them bleed, and then take them back out and start your fillet process. So once again, cut down, and you'll see the blood start to come out. I know it doesn't sound all that great, but it is what it is, and if you want a good fillet of fish, the best fillet possible, bleeding is always good. So you always want to start out with the walleye placed in this position right here. So you can see the belly's facing towards me like that. Belly's facing towards me. So basically you've got the 2 fins right here behind his gill. You're going to take your knife, place it behind him as far as you can get him. And I've got this glove on so I'm a little clumsy with it, but so you got it behind here, and then you want to just cut it right behind their gill, right towards the back of their head, because that meat runs all the way up to the back of their head. So you can kind of see where my knife's at right there. So we'll make a general cut going down until you just notice your knife touching the back of the backbone, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the front of my knife towards the bottom of the belly of the walleye, cut down towards the belly as you can see right there, and then I'm going to cut all the way down that belly, which definitely helps the fillet of fish. So cut it down, and you can see that, how I just opened that up right there. Now I'm going to go back to the top of the head where I started, and I'm going to flatten my knife out and cut at the same time and cut right down the backbone of the entire walleye down to its tail. So you can see where I'm cutting right here. Now I'm just going to cut down. You'll be able to feel that backbone with your fillet knife and just cut down it flat. Don't cut. You don't want to cut down. You want to cut more flat than anything. Let the knife do the work as you're making this cut. So go ahead. Flare right down, right to its tail, and what's easiest is just to cut it right before, and sometimes you have some alive fish, but that's okay. You'll see right here where it's still attached, and you want to just leave it attached so you can just flip it over just like that. So now you have right there, you want to go back to the end of the tail, cut down towards the skin, and all we're going to do here is fillet the meat off of the skin. So once again, let the knife do the work, keep your knife flat, and start cutting. Just like that. Okay, so once again, you have the 2 fins behind the head. I'm going to place my knife so it's underneath them like so. And this time you're going to once again start down towards the belly and just make a first cut right up towards the back of the head until you just barely feel that backbone right back here. And once again, I'm going to flatten the knife out, make the cut. I generally don't do the belly cut down with this one because it cuts a lot easier. So I'm going to start making the cut once again. Keep the knife flat, let the knife do the work. Stop right before the end. And then you simply just want to flip it over just like that. And once again, back to the tail of the walleye. You're going to separate the meat from the skin. Like so. Okay, now we're going to start the actual boning process. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. There's no wrong way to do it. Some people prefer one over the other. So with this, you basically see your walleye here. You're going to see the rib of the walleye. You have the white skin right here. On the other side is the bone, and this is how you're going to want to follow your next cut. The first way is simply just like this. Take your knife. Maybe if I position it this way. Here we go. Take your knife, start up towards the top, fat end of the fillet, cut down it, and you're going to be able to follow this rib bone line. Just cut it, simply cut right around it, right to the edge where you see that white. This is the part that I'm talking about. This is the white rib meat right here with all the bones, and this is what you want to get out of your fillet or else you're going to have a heck of a time eating it. So basically the part that we just cut around, which is this long piece, virtually bone free, with the exception of some really small ones, but will actually you'll be able to eat them just fine. So what I like to do is, depending on how you like to cook them, you can either cut this part in half or else cut it in quarters, which makes for really easy deep frying. Like so. That is ready for to put in some water, and you want to clean those off real nice, and you're good to go as far as ready to eat walleye.
You want to show a bloodline process, or do you don't want to worry about that?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So now what we're going to actually do is, once again, we want to get as much meat off these as possible. We want to debone the ribs. So once again, you have your white bottom right here. You simply want to flip it around. You've got the high part of that fillet you're going to see. All you want to do is you'll see an actual bone line on that fish right here when I'm running my finger up and down it. You want to take your knife and just cut down ever so slow, just a little bit, make your cut, and once again you're going to want to flatten your knife as you make this cut right here. You kind of see what I'm doing? I'm just going to start the knife and make the turn as I do it. Once again, you're going to take a little practice, but you got to start somewhere. So, just like that, and down on it just like that. And there you have your clean part of the rib meat right there. And got a little white on there. So I'm just going to trim that off just a little bit. Doesn't taste too good with this fish. And that is another clean part of the walleye ready to be cleaned or in water. And this is trash. Second way to debone the fillet is this time we're going to actually cut. Kind of tricky to explain, and the best way possible is just going to be for you to kind of watch me and watch the movement of the knife. But basically I'm not going to cut down the whole rib line down to the table. I'm actually going to cut a little ways down, and then I'm going to flatten my knife out and cut it away. Just like this. You kind of got to hold it and brace it a little bit. Just like so. And I'm going to flatten my knife and just get that part right there. And that's going to be your bones, which you do not want. You want to take that and throw it. So now you've got the actual clean part of the fish, and you got a whole fillet, but what you still have is your Y bones running down the center of the fish. So what you're going to simply want to do is you have the small end of the fillet back here, and you'll visually be able to see these little Y bones running down here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a slit on each side of that Y bone. You see my thumb? On each side of that. And then you're going to want to simply take that slit part and just basically tear it down the fish. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Place it down. Once again, look at your Y bone line. Cut on one side. Cut on the other side. Okay? You'll see the two little slits I made here. Another nice little trick with this is if you do have the time and the best way possible, let them soak in really cold water, then they do fall away from the Y bone a lot easier. But we'll be able to do this one just fine. So I've got my slit right here. Right here's the middle Y bone. I'm simply going to take this end and I'm just going to peel it. Oops. I'm just going to peel it back just like that. Do it slow because you want to separate the meat from the bone. Just like so. And this piece right here is your clean piece of walleye meat, ready for water to be rinsed and of course eaten. And then you simply take the other side of it, once again, pull it away, do it as slow as you can to get the Y bone separation, just like so. Okay, you'll have the small piece in the middle, that's your Y bones, and that's what you don't want to eat, so that's going to go in the trash. Clean walleye meat, ready for water, ready to eat. And that is the best way possible that I know how to clean a walleye. I'm not saying that's the only way, but that's the way I know how, the way I've been taught. And if you do have other ways, feel free to share with us. Thanks for watching.